Chicago has the team navigated preparations for Friday's match?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's obviously a shorter week because we play Friday night, but the team's been working incredibly hard. There were some positives that came out of our game in Orlando, and building on the previous week against Seattle. So for us, it was there's been a lot to work on this week. So we're excited for Friday. We trained really hard today, and we're excited to put the pieces together tomorrow, going into match day -1, and look forward to the game on Friday at home against Chicago in front of our fans.
Thank you for that. We'll open it up to questions. If you guys have a question for Ricky, please use the raise my hand option. Dustin, go ahead.
Hey Ricky.
Dustin, how are we?
Hey, good. The news this week that you're now the interim head coach. Is that just some relief? Just what was the kind of feelings around the locker room this week?
Yeah, just continue to do my job, to be honest with you, Dustin. We've always said we take it one game at a time, and nothing's really changed from that angle. Friday and Chicago's the most important day. So for me, it's just continue to do my job, turn up Friday, look to make sure we get 3 points and keep moving forwards. The team's been incredibly resilient all season, and for me, nothing's changed. They've turned up, they've continued to work hard, and we just focus on the game against Chicago on Friday.
And just looking ahead to that game, you guys, outside the playoff line, what is kind of the goal for you guys these last few games? What are you looking for out of the team as you guys finish up the season?
Yeah, look, listen, every time we step on the field, we're trying to win games. Nothing's changed. We've spoken about that all season. How do we win games? How do we make it difficult for the other team? So for us, the objective is in these last 4 games is to go into those games and try and win them. But the story doesn't change. For us, it's always one game at a time, and this next game is against Chicago, and how can we make it difficult and try and get 3 points against Chicago at home? The last time we played at home, we played really well. We played some great attacking soccer, and defensively we worked incredibly hard. So those are some of the things that we're going to be looking for on Friday night.
Thanks, Ricky. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Alex, go ahead.
Can you hear me, first of all? I apologize if you can't.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, can you hear you?
Yes, sir. How are you, first of all? You doing okay?
Yeah, great. Yeah, great.
Coach, I guess my first question is it time to reflect back on the season with Coach Fran? Any comments about this now being official and this being your team for the remainder of the season? Any insight you can share on what changed, I guess, from when you first arrived to where we are today?
No, not really. I mean, I think we've not really looked back at all this year. We've always focused on moving forwards, and you can't control what's happened previously. You can only control what's in front of you, and that's something I think this team's worked incredibly hard at. We've had challenges, but we keep moving forwards. We keep finding ways to evolve and change and make it difficult for teams that we're playing against. And that's what we'll continue to do. We play in the most difficult league in the world. And I don't think you can spend energy looking back on what you didn't do. You have to focus on what's in front of you. And I think this group does a really good job of that. They turn up every day and they look at ways in which they can be more effective, more dangerous, and that's what we'll continue to do as a group.
You've done a great job, Coach. I say under the circumstances, but that's my observation. Are you looking forward yet and thinking of what interim means? And long term, would you like to stay in Houston?
Listen, again, I don't think that far ahead. I don't look back that far, and I don't think that far ahead. I'm very Buddhist in my approach to things. I always want to be in the moment. I always want to feel what the team's feeling, feel what our staff's feeling in the moment. And right now, the most important thing is, and the focus is on Friday, and trying to make sure that when we step out on the field, the performance and the pieces and the details there. And to be honest, that's the most important thing. What I'm thinking and where I'm at doesn't really matter at the moment.
Coach, on the field for this Friday's coming along? Are you expecting to have your best 11 out there when you start the match?
Yeah, and we'll have our fittest 11 out there. That's the most important thing. You know, we've done a really good job of navigating some injuries. Like I've said previously, our medical team works pretty much 24/7 around the clock. And there's a reason why they were voted one of the best medical teams in the league. And they've been working incredibly hard. So we've got players that are back in positions where they're back into training and they're involved. As far as what that looks like for Friday, we still don't know yet. We've still got players that are doing some stuff this afternoon. We've got stuff planned for tomorrow morning. So for me, it's all about waiting until Thursday afternoon so we know exactly where we're at. But we're definitely getting to a better place than where we were.
Coach, thank you for your time and good luck. We'll see you Friday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Theo, go ahead.
Hey Ricky, how you doing?
How you doing, Theo?
Is your family alright?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, we managed to avoid there was a couple of blocks away that got a lot of damage, but somehow my road and my house managed to avoid the monsoons that came to Atlanta. So very, very grateful.
Good to hear it. I wanted to know, to touch on the fan news again, when it became official, how did you feel like the team reacted when they received the news, either in the moment, in a meeting room, or in training?
Yeah, I mean, we found out in a group meeting, you know, and I think one of the things that you see, they obviously need time to process the information, but they also, like I said previously, they're a very resilient group. They don't spend a lot of time thinking about things. They move on to the next challenge, and, you know, the majority of them are looking forward to playing on Friday. I'd say the entire team's looking forward to playing on Friday and trying to get 3 points for this club and make sure we continue to try and move up the table. And I think, if I'm being completely transparent, this week that's where our focus has been, and that's where our focus continues to be, on how we can be better and how we can get 3 points on Friday.
I know the squad is looking better than last week, but how much do you think the lack of bodies being available affected last week's result? Like you said, only having 14 outfield players. Like, are you worried about that limiting what you're able to do in terms of results, or as the playoffs are kind of starting to vanish, like, are you not worried as much about that?
No, listen, I trust everyone in the roster. You know, we talk about it being a village, and I don't just say that to give sound notes to people. I say that because I genuinely believe on everyone that's on our roster can do a job and affect the group. And, you know, we don't talk about subs, we talk about game changers, whether they're coming in to close a game or whether they're coming in to change a game. So for me, you know, it's whatever players are available to us, I have full utter belief that they're going to bring something to the group. But don't get me wrong, we've got players that are injured that are incredibly experienced and very good. So the more players we can have back, the more choices I can have as a head coach is obviously going to be a plus for us when we're selecting a roster on Friday to play against Chicago.
Final one for me. I know you said the most important thing is Chicago, one game at a time, but with playoffs again, kind of not so much on the horizon anymore, what are the things you want to see from the team, whether that's style of play or IDPs, or what is kind of the target for Houston Dash, either for the next four games or sort of for what's remaining?
Again, you know, the target is to get 3 points. Like, we don't look ahead. We don't think about, you know, what are we going to do? And if that person loses or that person wins, we only ever focus on ourselves. And I think once you start thinking outside of that, or you take your eye off the ball, excuse the pun, that's when things do start to slip away. And for us, we can only control our attitude, we can control our energy, we can control our responses when we go into games. And it's always been about the next game. You know, we talk about that all the time. We can't control things outside of that. We can only control what we bring into it. And against Chicago, at times this year, we've played some really good football. We've played some attacking football. We've scored some great goals. and we've defended incredibly well at times. You know, not many teams this year have played against Orlando and not allowed Barbara Banda to score against you home and away. So for us, it's about taking those moments and being more consistent in our approach. So those are some of the things I think we're hopefully going to see on Friday. What do we do in possession of the ball? How do we keep the ball? How consistent are we about getting into dangerous areas? And then when we don't have the ball, how relentless are we? How do we close spaces? How do we make it uncomfortable for them? And these are all the things that we speak about. We speak about them consistently, and any successful team in this league does those things on a regular basis. And that's the challenge for us. How can we transfer that into a consistent performance every time we step out on the field? But for us, it's 3 points on Friday. That's our goal, and that's what we're working towards.
Thanks so much for your time, Ricky, and good luck on Friday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Steph, go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Coach. Theo asked you about the players' reaction with getting some certainty with Fran. I'm just wondering if you could elaborate. Sometimes what you really just need is that sense of certainty, whether you like the answer or not, but just knowing for certain how things are. Is that contributing to the players maybe being able to keep their focus on the game coming up, or was that just not a factor?
Our focus is just focusing on Chicago on Friday. We just every day we turn up to training, and the most important thing is about what we do when we step on the field. And this week the training's been fantastic. The players have worked incredibly hard, and our focus is on Friday and getting 3 points against Chicago.
And then you mentioned, we can only control our attitude, we can control our energy. Deanna said something similar a couple games ago, talking about how sometimes she feels maybe the team hasn't necessarily had what she thought was the best response. Sometimes if there's a bad call or just bad luck or something on the field. In terms of that work together with the team, have you been seeing, continuing work or some things that you like from the players about keeping that focus of we can control our response?
We're just a resilient team. We have great character, and I think we've shown that this year. And we take that with us on Friday into the game. This is something we speak about all the time. Being resilient and showing character, and I think that's what you're going to see on Friday.